Vitex truly works on an endocrine level from what we know of it, which is not true of all the herbs that we use for reproductive health, nor should it be. Some, for instance, work on optimizing liver clearance, right? Others might work on triggers like stress levels and have a tremendous impact on fertility or other issues related to reproductive health. This one does, from everything we know, actually work truly on an endocrine level, meaning how the pituitary gland is regulating the production and balance of sex hormones in the body. So the pituitary gland signaling out to the gonads, ovaries, or testes, for instance, with the production of follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, and bringing that back into balance. Helpful for when I think of Vitex in particularly helpful when there's a lot of wind disharmony. If we're talking about a menstrual cycle, for instance, that can be a very erratic cycle, an irregular cycle. Someone coming off birth control, sometimes that's a challenge, sometimes it's unrelated to that. Of course, you look at we're working with whole people, right? So you look at all other things that may be going on, nutritional and otherwise, that you need to address. But that's where I think Vitex shines. Perimenopause, particularly earlier in perimenopause, when someone is still having periods, but it's become erratic and unpredictable, right? That kind of pattern is really, I think, again, where Vitex tends to shine. It's also useful for down-regulating prolactin levels when they're elevated. And one of the things we do know about this herb is that it is dopaminergic. And what's interesting to me about that is this is where, again, science meets tradition. You've probably heard me say this in classes, but I just believe it firmly, that there's one universe, there's one reality, but we can have different languages to describe it. And tradition can be one language to describe and understand the universe, and science can be as well. I don't think there's any at odds between them inherently. I think culturally we're sort of taught to believe. Sometimes, if we're honest, we herbalists ourselves reinforce that division. We talk about it as if there's a tension between the two. There only is a tension between the two if we keep believing that there is.